and welcome to the Astrology in You podcast. I'm Kerry Hourigan. Today we're talking about the new moon in Cancer happening on the 17th or 18th of July 2023, depending where you are in the world, the lunar nodes shifting signs, as well as the new moon squaring to Pluto in Capricorn and also the lunar nodes. But firstly, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the original land carers, the Awabakal people, where this podcast is recorded. I give my deepest respect to elders past, present and emerging. Just a reminder, you can get a free mini astrology report that includes a very detailed birth chart from Astrology in You, and I've also created a diagram of house expressions, and this will help greatly in seeing where these transits are moving over the different areas of your life. I also created a video to show you how you can create a birth chart with transits at astro.com, and all these combined are very handy in any astrology that you are following. You can find the podcast on all the usual platforms including YouTube, and any resources I mention will have links below in the show notes. So starting with the moon is connected to our sense of safety and security, which includes the known and familiar. It is also the most private aspect of who we are. Other associations with the moon include our home, family, childhood, our mother or most nurturing parent, our ego or subjective filter, and most importantly, our emotions, triggering our intuition and sensitivities. The house and sign of our natal moon tells us how we manage our emotions. The moon supports our ability to embody and feel the energies of the archetypes as we immerse ourselves in the dynamics of the planets, signs, and their placements, transits, and connections to one another through aspects and phases. Being immersed and feeling these energies is the best way to learn astrology. The new moon in Cancer will be happening at 24 degrees and 56 minutes on the 17th or 18th of July, depending on your location. So see where this specifically relates to you. You look to the house or the life area. This will be transiting in your own chart along with the other transits mentioned. The new phase is all about new beginnings in a new cycle, and this is where we set an intention. The new moon phase will be related to all things Cancer. Cancer is a cardinal water sign ruled by the moon, ruling the fourth house. The Cancer archetype is associated with home, emotional security, the inner child, and the ego. As I said, it serves as the subjective filter in how we view the world. And this is shaped by our childhood, societal conditionings, and experiences. Unfortunately, the ego gets a really bad rap, but it is necessary for our existence and our experience here on Earth. The most charming and endearing qualities of Cancer is nurturing, how we nurture others and the nurturing we seek out ourselves. Cancer is like our internal mother. It relates to sympathy, intuition, compassion, as well as fiercely protective of those they love. Cancer is a feeling archetype that draws our attention to our emotional world from within. Emotions are strong initiators and drivers that influence our judgments. And if you think of emotions like the water of the oceans, they are always in motion, always moving. Because we learn, grow and evolve through our emotional bodies, it is through trials, obstacles and problems that we can discover the lessons that lie behind our emotions, particularly the stressful ones. If you're dealing with stressful thinking and stressful emotions, I encourage you to seek out the work of Byron Katie, and she will show you a free process to free you from your nightmare. Now, although Cancer is kind and compassionate, perceptive, sympathetic, and sensitive to the suffering of others, we frequently do not apply this to ourselves. Perhaps now, at this new moon, it is the best time to begin doing this and practicing self-nurturing. This can mean establishing boundaries, saying no, and letting go of things we know we should. We must remember emotions need time to process, Now, if you look at food doesn't digest right away, and neither do emotions. They have to go through a process, and we must give ourselves the time for this process to occur. We always need to know the extremes of both sides, the lower and higher expressions of these archetypes. So the shadow of Cancer can be overly sensitive, touchy, moody, and irrational. It is advised to give the Cancer native a wide berth when emotions run high and allow the emotional waves to calm down in their own time. Otherwise, you will have an emotional tsunami come crashing down upon you. The worst thing you can say to anyone in this state is to relax or calm down. Just leave them alone and they will come out of their mood in their own time. This acute sensitivity sends a person into withdrawal, and just like a crab, they'll come out, but only when they're ready. The fourth house is a change initiating house that also indicates a new cycle. How you adjust to change is determined by your sign on fourth house. For instance, having a fixed sign on the fourth house cusp, such as Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, will indicate a resistance or reluctance to change. Conversely, having a mutable sign such as Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces will indicate an easier time adapting to change, and having a cardinal sign such as Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn will indicate the ability to initiate change. We always look at the polarity of a sign, and for Cancer the polarity is Capricorn. And this needs to be mentioned since Capricorn acts as a point of equilibrium, where when we are overly immersed by emotions and the Cancer energy, Capricorn challenges us to cultivate emotional maturity through discipline and emotional development. Capricorn also encourages people to stay in touch with their inner authority or inner father. The new moon in Cancer is not only the beginning of a new cycle, but it has added initiating fuel with the cardinal action-taking modality of the sign of Cancer. Depending on where this is falling in your chart, it will stir underlying emotions and urges to initiate change or action. Making this change will only reveal the potential that is available, and where obstacles and difficulty arise, we'll bring in necessary action to find security and safety at a different level. Going into the unknown and unfamiliar and beyond one's comfort zone gives one a sense of vulnerability and heightened sensitivities, creating awareness of what needs to be addressed. To me, this is so exciting yet frightening all at the same time. But once you get that urge to act, and that urge is more powerful, you're ready. There are also other drivers adding to this push. The new moon in Cancer is opposing Pluto in Capricorn and squaring the nodes. Now, these are called aspects, and aspects essentially are the way planets and points communicate with each other. The aspects of oppositions and squares are often described as stressful and difficult, and it is through difficulty and challenges we create awareness, and meeting obstacles gives us the opportunity to learn, grow, and develop, either by modifying and refining or finding strength, whichever applies. So the opposition of Pluto in Capricorn is at a critical degree of 29 degrees. The 29th degree of Capricorn in the Sabian symbols is incredibly profound. It says, as above, so below, that all is connected to everything else. The concept of realized being is their main purpose, to see beneath forms, facts, feelings, and fear. These are the aspects of the glamour that we falsely see as reality and covers the truth beneath. And there's a man called James Burgess who gives a very insightful interpretation of this, and of course you'll find the link below. So I really encourage you to go and look at what James has to say. Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It completely destroys what is outdated and no longer serves to make way for the new. And with this destruction, intensity comes. Intensity always accompanies change. If you look at the analogy of the caterpillar to the butterfly, if you've ever seen what this little creature goes through to go through this transformation is incredible. And so you can apply it to change in your own life. So Pluto is also in retrograde, and the retrograde motion is where the planet appears to go backwards and then go forwards again. It really doesn't. It's just an optical illusion. It's just that Pluto was caught up to the Earth's motion around the Sun. So we get the opportunity to review what has come before, to make the necessary changes, to improve and make things better. But we must keep in mind that we are witnessing the end of one cycle and the beginning of a new cycle simultaneously. So there's a lot going on. Pluto drags up from the deepest depths what needs to change because it is outdated and no longer works for something better. Now, this can be incredibly uncomfortable and challenging, but if nothing changes, we will never be able to see our own potential or have a different outcome. Depending on where this is occurring in your own personal chart, this will vary for each person. Collectively, Capricorn relates to top-down authority, government and large corporations, while Pluto relates to ending secrets, especially those of the rich and powerful, as well as corruption and fraud. So we find ourselves really looking closely at our life. This disclosure of corruption is unstoppable, and globally it includes the sexual secrets of the rich and powerful, government officials and large corporations. And for those of us who live in Australia, we have had enormous disclosure in regards to large corporations and political figures. So one of them was the scandal of PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is a global tax consultant, on one hand advising government on tax policy, and on the other hand looking after their clients, such as global companies that pay little or no tax. And just on the 30th of June, only days before the full moon in Capricorn, in New South Wales we have what is called ICAC. It's the Independent Commission Against Corruption. And the findings of its investigation was released. A lady called Gladys Berejiklian, who was the ex-Premier of New South Wales, and her secret lover Daryl Maguire, a former member for the seat of Wagga Wagga. It was concluded that both were found to be seriously corrupt. Came out about that report, and no doubt there will be others to follow. When we look at astrology and we observe and correlate, we can see how the astrology matches up. The new moon in Cancer is also squaring the nodes of the moon, and the nodes are not things, they are actually points in space, and this is also creating intensity as we initiate this new cycle. And this is what the squaring does. A square is a 90-degree angle, and it always comes with intensity and difficulty. But this is good because it gets us to look more closely at things. They're also in a square to Pluto, which is retrograding. And although the south node is in Scorpio and the north node is in Taurus, they are both at 0 degrees respectively on July 18th or 19th, and then again this depends where you are located. The South Node and North Node will enter the signs of Aries and Libra and will remain in a square with Pluto and the new moon respectively, activating the cardinal axis. And this is huge. And as we continue on our life's journey, the North Node is the path we develop to move forward, and the South Node is there to support us. We work with the North Node energies as we mature and advance in order to eventually master them. The North Node acts as a guide, illuminating the path to follow of the learning and development we engage in to progress. Now, the North Node is associated with destiny, and being in Aries, Aries is courage and bravery. It is passion, and it forges a path in unknown territory. It's the trailblazer, and we feel the instinctual impulse and urge to move into this unknown territory and to be equipped with bravery and courage, and to do things like leave our comfort zone. But we also have the support of the South Node in Libra. In Aries, it's all about me, but in Libra, it's all about others. So we have the support of other people if we need it. There's someone there that will help us along the path. The nodes of the moon stay in signs for around 18 months, and the last time we had the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra was in 2006. So in looking back, consider the events of your life at the time. Did you step outside your comfort zone or take on a challenge you felt was beyond you? I simply packed up my belongings and moved to Melbourne, which turned out to be one of the best decisions that I ever made. So it really is an incredible time. It's an amazing time to be alive, and the month of July is not going to be dull at all. So just to wrap up, how do we nurture ourselves in the new moon in Cancer? Well, medically, Cancer rules the stomach, digestion, including emotional digestion, the breasts, female organs, and general hormonal function. So a couple of things I come up with was always start a daily meditation practice, and this calms the nervous system and the body. Let go of what you know you must to move forward and keep releasing what's holding you back. Be in and with nature wherever possible. Nature has a way of calming us down. Give yourself ample time to emotionally process. Practice self-nurturing as much as you can, and check in with the little you, the child within. Listen to her or him and address any stressful, repetitive issues that keep coming up. And they keep coming up, so you will address them and find freedom, and see the work of Byron Katie for that. So your truth and significance can be found by paying attention to your intuition and the wisdom of your heart. We share a heart connection with the universe and the original source, as well as with every other living creature. Remember to establish your intention and be in the higher emotions of gratitude, joy, relief, hope, and appreciation of your life and others in it, and realize all is well, everything is happening perfectly right on time, and acknowledge everything in your life, particularly the obstacles and hardships and difficulties, because they always teach us the best. So that's all from me for this podcast. Thank you for listening. God bless, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.